NHL, and we're doing a special show just for that. We've got the Canadian crew here, Mr. Nick Parsons from the Insiders Room, Canadian #1. It's your time. This is your time to shine. Are you so excited?
Can't wait. I can't believe it. It's just been so strange, the whole schedule, everything. But here we go. Here we go. Can't wait.
Yes. Well, the other Canadian coming into the room has been trying to talk to me about hockey for months, and I'm going to let him talk to you about it instead. How's it going, Kurt?
It's going great. You are going to listen, though, right?
I am going to listen. Yes. Kurt has really been, Kurt and I are friends outside of work too. We're like betting buddy, real life friends. So we're always talking sports on the phone, and I'm not having it with the hockey. I don't know. We don't know this. But I'm going to start learning. I'm going to get active in the conversation, and here we go. Right. Here we go.
I will say this about hockey. You might not be interested in the sport itself, but the betting opportunities in hockey are unbelievable. Oh yeah, you get a lot of plus money early in games. Nick and I were just talking about it, and we'll touch on it during the show. Oh, there's a lot of live in-play action. You see plus 500, plus 700, and these teams come back and win all the time.
Now you're speaking my language. All right. Friends in the chat, Picks and Parlay View Crew, hit like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications, and drop some comments in the comment box. It's opening day, no preseason. No one knows what's going to happen. So if you've got a line or a lead on something, let us know what you think. And so we're going to talk the 3 night games, the Blackhawks at the Lightning, the Canucks at the Oilers, and the Blues at the Avalanche. So Nick, why don't you start us off? Blackhawks at Lightning. Tampa Bay is the big favorite, -250. The total is 6.5. What do you got here? What are we talking about?
Yeah, Kurt and I, we were talking about this particular game beforehand because I was trying to find any reason to take Chicago here, even on the puck line, perhaps taking them on the puck line, getting that plus 1.5 goals. You'd have to lay probably -115 to get that. But even there, because without Patrick Kane, a few other players here, Kurt mentioned to me that, they're going to have a rotation of 3 different goaltenders there for Chicago. Now, Tampa has a few injury issues as well, but Stamkos is back. It's going to be ring night. So these teams are going to see each other 10 times. And so, yeah, I think I'd almost lean the other way on the puck line here on Tampa. You know what I mean? And so last night we
laying a goal and a half. Then.
Yeah, and probably getting, I think probably like plus 110 or something. But I think that we both agreed on the over on the total chaos there last night, Kurt, on this game.
Is that how it went down? What are you thinking about this one?
Yeah, we're on the same page with this game here. I was looking for a reason to bet Chicago because it's the first game of the season, and this line is huge. But Chicago's just really not a good team, and Tampa is. Tampa is that team. Will they come out flat tonight? I don't think so. These guys have been itching to play. They're ready to go. And Steven Stamkos, he missed the playoffs last year. So if you want to talk about somebody that's a name to remember, Steven Stamkos. Allie, she's like, got it, wrote it down. No, but he's missed the entire playoffs, so he's itching to get back out there. I bet the team wants to get back out there with him. I don't see Chicago heading in the direction of playoffs or being competitive this year. A lot of high contracts. You have a lot of names. Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews. These guys have been there for years. These guys are in their 30s now. How long do you keep them around? Seabrook, Duncan Keith. I get it. These are good defensemen, but they've been around for years. You just don't see the youth movement here in Chicago like you do in Tampa. So I like Tampa here. They're the better team. They're headed in the right direction. I think.
All right.
An interesting point you made there, and one other thing that we were talking about last year, just about in-game wagering. So, I mean, as far as a side here, unless you're going to play the puck line, there really is no value. But I was mentioning last year about the Bruins. They were a very popular in-game live wager. They would go down 1 or 2 goals, and they would come back and end up winning by 2 and 3 goals last year. And then you would be getting them at like plus 300. So if you did like Tampa here, and Chicago did manage to get that early goal, I mean, that's a golden opportunity there to take Tampa on the money line, getting a significant plus money there if they're down a goal or something.
All right. Well, I like that. What's a ring game? You guys said ring game twice. What is that?
Ring ceremony. They won the championship last year.
Okay. Yeah. It's that ring.
So
okay.
Opening night. Ring ceremony.
Yeah. I wasn't sure. I don't know. Right. I'm learning things here.
No worries. No worries. Hey, look at that, guys. Philly takes a 2-1 lead with just 2 seconds left in the first period.
There we go.
2-1, and we had this game over. This was an under.
We did. We had that one under.
Under.
And we were both leading Philly there as well.
Carter Hart.
Mm-hmm.
I heart Carter.
Hey, it was a 6 there. So yeah, we're halfway there through the first period. We'll see if they can keep that up in the second period.
Yeah, Carter Hart doesn't do 6s, guys. That guy, that's not his number. He's not really in those kind of games where 6s are going over. That's not his style of play right there.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, if we have a scoreless second here, then that under is looking great, obviously.
Yeah, totally.
Now, with this Blackhawk game, what I will say is we do like the total to go over, and we're talking about in-play opportunities. So for those of you that don't know, what we have in the NHL in between periods is you'll have, I guess, a prop bet, second period bet, and the total is always 1.5. Rarely do you see 2. So they'll give you the opportunity to just bet the over for that period. And second periods, those have been golden. When teams start off and they come out, kind of feeling each other out, you see that 1 goal. For example, the Philly game, even though this looks like a dead under game, you get the 2 goals in the second period, and that's the magic number in the second period is 2. You just need 2 in the second period, and that happens more often than not.
Okay, so you're saying take it over the 1.5 for second half or second period totals. That's
right. Watch the game. If you see,
no. You lost me. Nope. I'm just kidding. Nope. I will not.
If it's a scoreless first period, that would be a really solid in-game second period wager to consider. Absolutely.
Okay, so
especially in a game like this with those 2 teams. So
Ali, basically the total in the game is 6.5. So if you don't like that 6.5, you could bet it by the period.
Yes.
That's so 1.5. Now you just need 2 goals instead of 7.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Especially if it's a low-scoring first period or no goals, then
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a low-scoring first period and they give you that option for 2 goals in the second, and you look at the teams that are playing in hockey, that's really nothing that happens.
Yes, that's a solid situational.
It's very solid.
And that's not just for this game. That's like overall in hockey. This is what that's why I wanted everyone to know. Like, if this is a play that we can make all the time, then let me know.
Yes,
all the time.
All the time. Okay, so we're gonna go Canucks at the Oilers here. Edmonton's minus 140. We got a total of 6 on this one. I think you guys disagreed on this total. Nick, what do you think? What do you think about the game? What do we think about the favorite?
Vancouver lost a bunch of talent in the offseason there. It's goaltender, but it did pick up Braden Holtby. I'm not sure who is starting tonight, if it's Thatcher Demko or Braden Holtby this evening. Canucks, the issue in the early going that I am seeing is that they have issues on the defensive end. They had a really good offense, but still, this is a deep team. They got out of the first round. They beat the St. Louis Blues. They have confidence. They now have experience. They're going to have to work through some issues, but they had to do that last year too. Now, the Oilers, we touched on this last night. They have arguably the best 1-2 punch in the league there in McDavid. And I always mispronounce his last name there, Leon Draisaitl. How do you pronounce that, Kurt?
Draisaitl.
Draisaitl. Sorry, Draisaitl.
Tomato,
Yeah,
tomato.
I mean with those two. But would you say that the Oilers get thin after that?
Very thin. What the Oilers, they brought in Kyle Turris. Okay, so you're thinking, okay, this is a team that's trying to make some improvements to help Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. There's a huge drop off, like I told you before. Draisaitl, you have 34 goals, 63 assists for McDavid last year, almost 100 points. You're 97 there. Draisaitl, you had 43 goals, 67 assists. That's the entire team, basically, those guys. Then you have this huge drop off. You got 19 goals for James Neal, who's 33. On the downside of his career, signed a great contract, still making $5 million per. But you got 19 from him last year. That might have had a lot to do with playing alongside McDavid and Draisaitl. And you add Kyle Turris, and Turris is a player. He just came from Nashville, and you're thinking, well, this is going to be a guy that brings a lot of offense, but he really hasn't in the last couple of years. That's probably why Nashville let him go so easily. He only had 9 goals last year, has only gone over the 20-goal mark 3 times in his career. So I don't know if that's quite the punch that you need. It's just a huge drop-off. And when you look at Vancouver, on the Vancouver side, how many 20-goal scorers are on that team? I like Vancouver here. We didn't pick a side yesterday. I do like Vancouver here. They're the underdog, but I think that their team is just a little more complete than Edmonton. Edmonton, very top heavy, superstars, like superstars at the top, and then it just kind of tails off, and Vancouver is just kind of steady throughout the team. I think Vancouver's the play.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Kurt.
Do you like that?
Opening night, and so our opinions could very easily be changed by tomorrow morning. Of course, I mean, if Edmonton comes out and wins by 4 goals, it wouldn't be completely mind-blowing either, you know what I mean, obviously. But yeah, no, I think as from a logical standpoint, from not with a lot of different unknowns and different things, you broke that down perfectly, and I would lean that way as well. Just I think that Vancouver's goaltenders are, they're just as solid as Edmonton's.
The Oilers bring in Turris, right? They bring in Turris to help improve the offense, but they did nothing with the goaltending. They have it's I don't understand it. Yeah, it's just weird. They've been trying to put this team together. Do you remember that there was rumors that McDavid wanted to get out of there? Like, he was very unhappy with the organization at the end of last season.
Yeah,
I really don't see where they made the improvements in the offseason.
It will be interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing that game for sure, how it's going to play out. And I mean, that's going to determine how we're going to play the next game, because these teams are going to see a lot of each other. There's going to be a lot of these back-to-backs, as we touched on, or just 2 times in the same building, etc. So
I looked at the number, and it's plus 120 for the Canucks. So there's a little plus money for you honeys. Yeah. Let me know what you think about this, because we were talking about how the Lightning, you can't lay the minus 250. It's not what we advise as professionals. There's no value there. But Elliot's saying Tampa first period over 1.5, Tampa first to score, Tampa puck line. Is any of that stuff?
Yeah, I mentioned Tampa on the puck line. I mean, if you like Tampa, that's a solid wager. I mean, if they're up big, then great. But if they're only up 1, then Chicago's going to pull the goalie, and so that open net opportunity will be there as well. So yeah. I would say if you're going to play Tampa, you got the puck line's the solid way to go for sure.
Yeah, I get that.
I was surprised that the puck line wasn't minus 120 or something along those lines. You still got plus money with the puck line. I got it at even money earlier. So yeah, I think that's a safe bet. It's the first game of the season. This might be Chicago's Stanley Cup. Who knows? They might get up for the champs, but I just don't see it.
Fair enough. Craig Trapp said Pens tonight. That's what he put in his parlay with his hoop parlays. What's the score? I've got this open on my app. Should I bet something right now? Because I've got like a trigger finger happening right now. I'm like, what's the
Well, there you go. I mean, Kurt was just talking about playing second period overs, just
right, but
making
it's
a situation.
-160.
Well, you know what? How about the second period under here in this Pittsburgh Philly game?
Okay, second period under +130, under 1.5.
They've only scored 1 goal, right?
No, 3. They've scored 3 goals. It's 2-1.
I was confused when you were saying it looks so under because 3 goals in 1 period looked very over to me.
Oh, geez. It was 1-0 when we started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you think about that, it goes both ways in your logic there. If you know what I mean, if they have no goals in the first period, then you look at that second period over. But if they have 3 goals in the first period, then perhaps look at the second period under. And Allie's saying you can get +130 on that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the way these teams are flying right now, I'm not sure if that is. I'm not suggesting that you should, but
so Allie,
I'm
Allie,
good.
Your play was earlier when we first came on. The score was 1-0 Pittsburgh, and you could have gotten Philly at plus money, and then they tied the game, and now Philly's leading, and you would have gotten Pittsburgh.
This is a flip flop sport for me too, because
it's a great flip flop sport.
Flip-flop. That's my business right there. I love the flip flop. That's when you take a big plus money number here, and then you take the big plus money there, and then you can't lose your bet. Because you got it both.
The money's a lot bigger in hockey. That's the best part about hockey. The money's a lot, like your number's +150. In hockey, a team goes down a goal, you'll see, +200 depending on what stage of the game they're in.
All right, we've got one more to talk about. We're going to talk Blues at the Avalanche. The Avs are -150. We got a total of 6. That went up from last night. Last night it was 5.5. When we did the show. And I think you guys both agreed on that one, but
no, we disagreed because I said it wasn't 6. Remember, I said, why isn't it 6? If it was 6, I'd take it over, but it's not a 6.
Right.
I heard that there's questions with the goaltending with Grubauer tonight. So
there is an issue?
Yeah, there's a health issue, I heard. Wish I knew that before I drafted him.
No, this is going to be an interesting game. These two teams will obviously be there at the end in this conference. I mean, with a line like this, it wouldn't be too hard to, make up a convincing argument for either of these teams to win. Do you think, Kurt, in your opinion, that either of these teams has any room to fall off from where they were last year? I mean, St. Louis did fall off last year, sort of from where it was. But it returns almost most of its lineup. Do you think? Colorado definitely took a huge step forward last year. Do you think that it has everything in place to do that again?
Colorado is I believe Colorado's up there with the Golden Knights as far as favorites to win the West, and they should be. I mean, they're a fantastic team. They have the superstars. They have the goaltending. They had injuries. That was their problem last season. They just had too many, and they just weren't really able to compete in the playoffs, and we saw that. Didn't they have a third string goalie? I think they were playing a third stringer. You're fighting for your playoff lives, and you have to bring in the third string goalie. So yeah, Colorado's definitely on the upside. They're definitely a team that, as long as they're healthy, and we're already talking about Grubauer, it's like, geez, Colorado. You haven't even started the season yet, and you're still kind of continuing from how you left off last season. But if they can get healthy and stay healthy, this team's definitely got a shot. St. Louis, I believe Tarasenko's injured, so they're going to have to make up for some scoring there. The goaltending, Allen's gone now. So Jordan, this is all you.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what happened in the playoffs. He was the goalie a couple of years ago that if he lost a game, bet the house he's not going to lose 2 in a row. Remember that?
Absolutely. He came out of nowhere.
That was his number, Ali. He didn't lose 2 in a row. Yeah. Now he's getting pulled in playoff games. I don't know. He's a young player. Maybe it's in his head. Let's see what happens in this game, because he is going up against one of the top offenses. So this is going to be a good gauge to see where he is right now. And that's pretty much what St. Louis is relying on, is their goaltending. That's what took them to the Stanley Cup. That's what won them the Stanley Cup. That's what they're going to need to get back.
All right. Everybody in the chat likes the Avalanche. Everyone's on them. Everyone, money lines, pucks line. Everyone loves the Avalanche. That's what's going on there. So.
And do we know where the public money is? I mean, it would seem like if everyone's on them in our chat, then it's going to probably be.
Be careful with the St. Louis goaltending, though. Be careful with the St. Louis goaltending.
What could you get the Blues at on the puck line?
It is important to remember, too, that just because we all agree in the chat, that's actually a good thing because we have a lot of sharp
no question about it.
Yeah, we have a lot of really sharp viewers, and I get it when I do my free pick videos. They all pile in, and we talk about all the college basketball games, and they help me out just as much as I help them out. So you guys are sharp, and thanks for joining us. Totally love
thank you, definitely.
in the comments because that's what makes this more fun, All right.
This could be another game where Colorado, if St. Louis did get an early goal and you like Colorado, then that's when you live bet Colorado. Absolutely.
Okay.
This will be one of those back and forth games as well, with the potential. This has potential to be, some games it's going to be one-sided. Others, these teams are going to battle and you'll be able to get on both sides of the money.
I love that. All right. Anything else that we need to know? Do you guys have any ideas on futures? Have you thought about that? I know that this is like right out of the blue, but have you thought about that?
I didn't look at it as closely this year as I have in years past, only because of it's just a different year. You know what I mean? And so there's so many different variables that we're unable to predict. And so, no, I didn't look at it closely this year as I have in years past because of that.
The scheduling makes a huge difference. The scheduling, because you have, certain divisions where, it's 4-4. It's a huge gap between the 4 good teams and the 4 bad ones. And that throughout the season that these the better teams are just going to beat up on, and their record's going to look better because of it. But I don't know if you could really get a good idea what's going to happen once they do start to face stiffer competition in the playoffs. If you've been playing cupcakes all year, well, not all year, but you had your share of the Blackhawks and the Coyotes, and
I mean the same thing happened in baseball there with the Cleveland Indians. They just and then as soon as they started playing in the playoffs there, their pitching got beat up, and so
They
did. They just lost a guy who went to the Met. Carrasco just went to the Mets. From the
Carrasco and
Lindor.
Lindor.
Wasn't it Lindor?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I can't wait for baseball.
Can't wait.
I know, right?
I'm busy with basketball, but yeah, we got some time. So I do think it's really cool the way that the NHL is handling, like, bubbling their divisions in their own little way, and I'm excited for them. Nick, you mentioned last night that Toronto had seen whoever they were playing. I don't know.
Montreal,
Maple Leafs. That's what they are. They saw that team 3 times last year. They're going to see them like 10 times this year. So I'm really excited about this whole back-to-backy kind of, keep it all together thing. I think it's going to get fiery. It's going to get fiery in the NHL.
Yeah, lots of situational opportunities. I think so, for sure.
And I think it's going to be similar to a playoff atmosphere. Like I said, you're seeing the same team over and over. And you might see them twice this week, then 2 times again next week. Like, it's just, like that thing, you're carrying that baggage from the last game when he slashed you, and you didn't get a chance to get to him. So you're waiting to see him on the ice. That really happens.
Is there a place where we can take like totals on fights in a game? Like how many times the fight can break out in the game?
Maybe not on normal games, but perhaps through the NHL finals or something. That could be a possibility. Yeah.
All right.
Maybe on games where the teams are a little chippy.
Grand Salami is going to go over on fights this season.
Right.
Like, for sure. All right, guys. That just about wraps us up for the NHL.
Awesome.
Good show. Yeah. So let's
money tonight. And so Friday we'll be back to talk probably NFL football, right, Allie?
Yeah, we'll do Saturday, Sunday NFL football on our Friday live cap, 6 p.m. Eastern, and we'll get all those games handled for y'all. Tonight, Kurt Alexander is up against Dan Kaiser for college basketball total chaos. Nick, I'm coming for you for NBA total chaos on Thursday. And Friday, it's Sean Higgs against the man, Chip Chirimbus for NFL. Chip was 5-1 last week, 11-5 week 17. This guy's crushing totals. So great NFL total picker. And the funny thing is, he's not a totals guy. He always says that. He's like, I never. And so you know what? I can teach an old dog new tricks. Look at that.
Look at that.
He didn't even know he could do that. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us. We'll check you out on Friday. Don't forget, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications.
Bye.